Europeans have always had an odd fascination with Egypt, and rightfully so. Great hieroglyphs, pyramids, such a rich history with mystery left behind. However, did you know that the fascination went so far as to Europeans actually eating mummies? Let's unravel the culture behind consuming actual mummies. What's up, guys? It's your boy Zo the Session here with another solo session. And today I want to talk to you guys about something that I was, looking up and learning about as I was smoking one day. And it really caught me, it really caught my eye. It was something that I never heard of in my history of just, especially studying things like pyramids and Egypt. And I just never heard of this wild thing. But what I learned was that there was a time in history, and not so far back in history, that people were actually eating mummies. We got to bring it back to like medieval crusades times. Okay, so during these crusades, the crusaders kind of got curious, right? They wanted to go out, see what's beyond Europe. Okay, so as they started some travels, they obviously ran across Egypt. They ran across the Middle East and, several other little Islamic cultures around at the time. And, they began to learn some of these things. They really, really liked Egypt. It looked magical to them, just mystery and things like that. When they went over to the Middle East, they started learning different medicines and different practices of medicine from some of these Islamic cultures. Now, it's important to note that a lot of things happen in mistranslation and kind of probably just some odd beliefs that everything from Egypt and stuff like that was magic. So there was a medicine in Islamic cultures called Mumia bitumen. Okay, bitumen is like this natural waxy substance that seeps out of the earth, and it's kind of from some like petroleum distillate type of thing, right? It'd be used as well to embalm mummies. Okay, and so that's kind of how some of this mistranslation got into play when these Middle Eastern countries were probably explaining it to some Europeans, and we kind of ran with it. And knowing the fascination with Egypt and hearing the word mummy, and knowing that the mummies were actually embalmed in this bitumen, it's kind of easy to see how they did it. So going forward, bitumen was a huge thing. It was medicine. They loved it. They thought it was magical, something holy. Europeans began a big trade with the Middle East for bitumen, and it's kind of a European thing to go and try to get whatever's seeping out of the ground from the Middle East, if you know what I mean. But they go ahead and get this bitumen, and the mumia starts to run out. There's a big demand for it. People were loving it, and bitumen starts to actually run out. So, knowing that mummies were embalmed in this bitumen, people actually began to start selling mummies. And given that there was such a rich history with Egypt at the time, people thought these hieroglyphs and all these other things carried some sort of magic. People began selling mummies as mumia. Since the bodies some of them were kind of actually embalmed in it, they thought it would do the exact same thing, and that these bodies had the magical powers. Uncertain as to how it began to be consumed and just eating the mummy, but I do know some of it used to get ground up. I mean, I'm certain some people would probably just eat body parts. And it was sold in sometimes little bottles. It sometimes was sold as like a dye as well. Like the mumia is like a dye from the mummies. Yeah, it was some sick stuff behind this, and people would actually consume mummies thinking that it would help their bodies, help their longevity, and help them just in life in general, and cure different ailments like headaches, stomach aches. Sometimes they would eat it for just good luck, basically, because it was supposed to be magical. This happened actually up until about the 1920s even. And it started with the Crusades. It came through another wave when Napoleon decided he wanted to go to Egypt in the late 1800s, early 1900s. He went to Egypt, took dozens of scholars with him, and he was fascinated. He ransacked the place, stole as many artifacts he could, took some knowledge, mummies. I mean, they were only just selling them outside on the street. And this bred into another realm of fascination with mummies. There was a new thing called unwrapping parties that were now an actual thing. Yeah, an unwrapping party. So what an unwrapping party was people would actually come outside or come to each other's houses, and someone had just purchased the mummy. There would be food, alcohol, music, and we would actually sit around and unwrap this mummy as if, it's just an everyday thing. And that became kind of a cool thing throughout Europe. That didn't stop until about the 1920s. Yeah, man. I mean, it's some crazy stuff. I already know we always had a fascination with Egypt, rightfully so. It's just such a grand thing, those pyramids, even just embalming bodies and wrapping them up. But it's so hard to believe that you could be laid to rest and then someone from thousands of miles away can come, dig your grave up, and unwrap your body. I mean, eat your body. And it is said to be for your great health. I mean, that's almost scary to think about when it's in terms of like what we did. And like now, even now, just thinking about it, when we have all these movies about some archaeologists going into the tomb of a mummy and opening the mummy's coffin, and now there's a demon released, or there's a spirit coming to find them, or a curse is supposed to be released. And this maybe because that's real life guilt behind, like, why are we digging up graves? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are we digging up graves of any kind? And going even further, even if we're going to dig up maybe one or two to get a gist of what was going on, right? Why are we eating them? Like, why were we, what was going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell was happening? Like, why were we eating? You feel me? Like, yeah, man, that's a little bit about the history of how Europeans used to actually eat, consume, sell mummies, If you guys like this video and you guys want to see more, subscribe, like, comment, give me some more topics to talk about. Haven't done a solo in a while. I'd love to do more. Is there anything you guys want me to talk about? Please let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, comment. It really helps this channel. Thanks, guys. It's your boy Zoda Session. I'm signing out.